Are back for ECS NA. Of course, I am Tom. Joining me will be Harry, and I'm pretty sure we're going in quite quickly into this one. We've got NRG and Liquid ready and raring to go. Now, something we didn't really touch upon last time these teams played, it was actually a 2-0 to NRG. Now,
that's
you
pretty
didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, I didn't see that one coming.
It was, I think, a Cobble and a Dust 2. So my magical tablet, also known as a phone, has told me this, and I'm quite surprised, really, because in terms of Liquid, in other recent results, like they've been able to take a map off SK. I think they've split with Cloud9 as well. So the teams that we're sort of repping as at least the top in the ECS group at the moment. And well, NRG have sort of gone toe to toe with them as well. Like this was a few weeks ago, but at the same time, it is one of those positions where maybe they can do it again.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, like what we were saying earlier, this is of course Liquid's map choice, and I do feel that could be the case if it wasn't Nuke.
Next is Dust 2. So, you know,
yeah, no, Dust is one that they could definitely try and come back from. The issue being is that Nuke is one of these maps where if you're good at it, then you could dominate on it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to learn it or you don't like it, then you just avoid it at all costs. And
yeah, there aren't too many teams that actively play.
Yeah, a lot of teams do make the decision to try and avoid
Dig are one of the ones that do play, and then teams will actively avoid playing them on this map because they are actually pretty damn good at it. They're one of the teams that I actually really like the setup they have, but again, it's sort of like setups on this map in general have not really changed. I think you normally send maybe an extra person outside now, along with the sort of AWP, and or Apache plays most teams a bit further back. You'll see it sort of over towards the back red box and more even towards spawn if necessary to hold on the balcony, and then you have another player outside. I think Angel was doing it very well as of recent, and it does mean that in terms of the map, a lot of the teams that were good at it before are still good at it now. Obviously, in terms of Dignitas, things have changed. The roster's quite different between this Nuke and the old Nuke, but they still seem to be pretty good at it. And, well, Liquid so far, in all the performances we've seen, they've been pretty good at it as well. Now, going into the first round, we will see Nitro. He's got himself the Tech 9 and a bit of utility onto Hiko. Of course, we will have straight Kevlar on NRG, so not investing anything.
Yeah, they're going to be going for the aggression solely on the side of NRG. You can already see they're trying to push in towards B, and they're going to get punished for it. Pit is going to be the first to fall. Fugly as well going to be close to follow after, but Legia and Tabson, they're going to be heading on in, and Gobi gets one as well on a Pimp. Now it's a 2-on-2. He goes on 1 HP. And with this flank coming in from behind, the two members of NRG are going to be in a very good place to potentially try and put this one away. Hiko as well being so low with such a clutch situation potentially presenting itself in the round is going to be less than ideal. Bomb is dropped, and well, all NRG have to do is sit pretty and trade into this one.
Yeah, of course, still a lot of time. These initial engagements were very early into the round, a minute 10 to play with. Of course, they do have to try and retrieve that bomb at some point, and Tabson, well, this sort of crossfire is going to make things very, very difficult. Got to be in a decent position to actually stop any sort of trade to come in, and well, he's going to get Nitro as well. This is going to make things nigh on impossible. Hiko, he may be the clutch meister, but 1 HP and a sort of dream. If they had any nades, if they hit him, he would die, and he just has to sort of try and play absolute mind games. It's not going to happen. NRG will get themselves that CT pistol, which is always an important start, really, because you have to talk about this map in terms of sides. It's not as CT-sided as it used to be, but it's still up there with the CT rounds.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, you'd still be expecting a very, very heavily CT-sided map. It can be quite interesting to watch because it means the teams really have to try and break out some exciting strategies, and employ some kind of off-the-cuff tactics in order to try and convert rounds on the board. We're going to be seeing NRG picking up the pistol, and that's going to be very good for them because it prevents Liquid from being able to get a nice, easy 3 rounds on the board. Fugly going to be the first to fall as he does go aggressive in through B, but Tabson's there to trade things out. Put it back into a 4-on-4, and now Liquid look like they want to try and take control of outside. They've got 2 players here already in the form of Elige and Nitro. Hiko, meanwhile, over towards Silo. He's going to be slowly but surely trying to make his way in towards this A site. Going to find one on his absolute one coming in behind. Legia is one out of secret. Going to be able to take down JDM. Hiko falls, and well, now it's all on Elige and Nitro, the 2 players who weren't relegated to the outside area. Nitro going to be the first to fall, and Elige potentially welcome to the clutch.
Yeah, a lot to do in this round. Of course, the birthday boy with 2 kills. I just read that one, Legia. Nice little present if they can win this one off. Of course, Elige is the last one left alive. 50 seconds. Again, it's one of those timing problems, and GodB will be there to finish him off. That's going to be 2-0 for NRG. And a nice little start, a nice little bolster as well to their economy. But in terms of rifles, they still only have 1. And, well, for the T side, you could sort of expect they're just going to go for the pistols in this one. Not anything too crazy, and mostly P250s.
Yeah, so one thing I did want to draw on there, you said it's Legia's birthday, did you just say? Alright, well then there we go. Happy birthday to Legia. Let's hope his team posts a formidable scoreline. I mean, we were kind of saying that they're the underdogs going into this. But, you know, maybe his birthday wish was for them to take this one away. Tabs going to be finding that first frag, takes down Elysian towards A, and that's going to help delay this push from the T side. Liquid already having to slow things down, taking things more slowly. And while Tabs are going to, from the same angle, once again, finds Pimp as they just keep offering him kills on a silver platter. It looked like Hiko was going to be going for the same death angle there. Does decide to fall on back. Meanwhile, Fug leaning towards B, takes down JDM, and that's going to be bomb dropped out in the open on B ramp.
Again, Hiko, well, got a lot to try and achieve here with very, very little. And it will be Fugly to keep things nice and clean into this round. Now, in terms of Liquid, we can sort of just wait to see what they'll actually bring into this round. It doesn't look like they're going to have too much, but they will manage to get an AWP onto JDM, who has been saving this whole time. Now, he is sort of renowned for this weapon, also his lounging, his style of play, but other than that, it's his rifles that do suffer a bit. So it is good that his AWP is in play to start things off. Of course, on the T side of Nuke, it isn't the most integral weapon, to say the least, but maybe he can start off rounds with the entry kills onto outside.
Yeah, Hiko going to be trying to find some success in towards Trophy Room. Is going to be doing a little bit of damage, but then opting to fall on back. Now kind of stuck in towards the ramp area. He's got a little bit of aggression coming out from, I believe that to be at Tabson as he pushes up. Fugly, sorry, as he starts to push up towards B ramp. Trying to come in on the flank. Hiko is going to be stuck here as they have taken control of the main room as well. Pushing on through. Tabson with that UMP Legia there as well. There's so many players surrounding Hiko. This isn't going to be good. Going to be able to find one. Finds a second as well. It's going to get taken down though by God B there, and it's going to go 3 on 4. The man advantage actually leaning the way of Liquid.
Yeah, that second shot, a little bit of luck going the way of Hiko, and that will be enough to give them that man advantage, as you said. It is a somewhat bonus round at the moment for NRG. They had a couple of UMPs in play. Obviously, both of those are now gone. The trade up from God B will allow him to have the AK in play. And we look towards the T's. They've taken a lot of map control at the moment, all the way around the back. Of course, having Heaven going into this site can actually be very, very important. And while God B is going to go down as well, Nitro with the entry, Peter will be looking to try and get himself back into the site. But, wow, this is going to be very difficult, especially if you're trying to go up that ladder with an AWP.
Yeah, it is going to be tricky to say the least. As Bomb makes his way down and in towards the A site, trying to do what he can, coming around the back with the out through Secret. It's a 2 on 4, so they're looking a little bit hesitant as to whether or not they're even going to attempt it, you know, with how long the rotate's taken. They're just going to be opting to save, trying to secure the M4 and the AWP up into the next round. When we take a look at the economy, you can see that NRG are in a fairly good place. You got $4,000 on Legia and Tabson, the two players that have died, and then $7,000 on God B. So that's pretty good. If they could save these two weapons as well, economically, they should be good for the next couple of rounds after this, providing, even if they do lose the next. So it's going to be, you know, not too bad. It does depend, though, on whether or not Liquid decide to go on the hunt. Their money isn't looking very good, but they do have the bomb plant, and no, they are just going to be opting to save safely. And, well, sadly, JDM...
Do they get the AWP back? Yeah, they do, just about.
JDM actually perishes in the explosion.
I think he knew he was about to die, and that's why he threw the AWP in the air, but that could have actually ended much worse if it was in the air and the bomb then pushed it. It could have gone flying out of the map, so... And luckily, they will retrieve it, so not too costly in the end for Liquid, but as you said, their economy isn't anything too crazy just yet. NRG, they're going to get their buy back up on the board. A lot invested into this round, and the last was a bonus, so it's sort of the perfect opportunity for that reset to now come in for them on their CT side. Of course, if the Ts can then capitalize, it will be a very weak buy, if anything, coming back into the next round, and where you have to look towards the Ts now and see if they can capitalize on the CTs.
Yeah, but it's going to be God B to go slightly aggressive up in towards that radio room, trying to find some early aggression. Doesn't spot anything out though as Liquid. They're actually dedicating all their members outside currently, with the exception of Hiko, who is watching the flank over towards the rooftops area. And well, like, yeah, it's going to be down in towards Secret. We'll be able to spot out Nitro as he makes his way down, but Nitro finds the frag. It's going to be the man advantage now leading the way of Liquid. As he does fall, they manage to get control of outside and Secret in the process, because NRG are actually playing fairly passively on the outside area. They don't have many people dedicated to it. It was only Legia the last couple of rounds, and this round looks to be no exception. It's going to allow Liquid to grab control of this and start to make their way down in towards B as a result. This could potentially end in a plant. I believe they rotated Fugly down, as well as Tabson in towards Vents. So they have got 2 players down in towards this B site currently. But still, they're only outnumbered quite heavily by the players of Liquid.
Yeah, already, again, taking quite a lot of map control and waiting to see how they actually utilize it. Of course, rotation's still pretty quick on Nuke. And while Elige, is he going to get this kill? No, he's not. It's Tabson to capitalize. And now the advantage seems to have swung. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock, and Fugly's position is going to be so important in this round. The bomb should be able to go down, but if he sprays through, he's so close to connecting and eventually catches out Nitro. Now there's only a matter of seconds left on the clock. JDM, he has to go straight for this plant. There's nothing else he can really hope to achieve. Tabson sprays away, and it's actually Fugly again to catch the second player. Hiko, well, there's no clutch here. He doesn't have the time to even get towards the players, and that will be the round straight back for NRG. And, well, I imagine we'll have to have a force now for Liquid just off the back of Hiko having $0.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They have enough money as well to buy up across 2 of the players. And, well, I mean, Pimp's going to be the only one who's pretty far gone in terms of his economy. JDM's got a little bit in the bank, and they will be buying up what they can. Good bit of utility to try and work with, considering it is a force buy. You've also got 3 AK, so a reasonable amount of firepower to try and make this one work. On the side of NRG, you've got the AWP up on Pitter, and then 4 rifles, as well as plenty of utility to try and hold off the encroaching Liquid members.
Yeah, of course, as we said, it is a CT-sided map, but the big problem now for Liquid is they don't want to let NRG just get themselves rolling in terms of their economy. It has got a little bit of a bolster off that, but they still had to rebuy a couple of weapons, so it isn't anything crazy just yet. The T's, in terms of their reset, they'll be coming back with literally $1,900 if they aren't able to either get a bomb plant or just win the round straight out. So we are looking to see what they can do on this T side. Again, taking a little bit of map control. Haven't really got anything in terms of what the CTs would be worried about losing. Just sort of hanging out around the door, and that's going to allow Elige to peek. However, quickly traded out. It will be a nice couple of kills, and Tabson spraying away. Doesn't quite manage to capitalize onto JDM, but keeps him very, very low. Now already, Leggy are ready to push back into the site. He's going to look to take down Hiko, who peeks out and gives them the man advantage. It will be Fugly and Peter to try and get back into this round.
Yeah, 2 versus 3, but JDM is, well, dead. So now it's going to go to a 2-on-2. Fugly does find the opening pick, finds a second as well. Hiko goes down. Now it's all on Elige. Line up that first shot. Peter going to go up for the spray out onto Fugly as well. Finds the damage and takes him down, securing the 1 versus 2 there at the end and clutching that round out. It's going to be 2-4 as Liquid, by the skin of their teeth, managed to get through that round and secure a second on the board.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to come close in terms of the economy game in this round. Now, both teams are on the brink of a reset once again. Of course, NRG will get 1 extra round of loss bonus, but not anything too crazy to really go behind. And in fact, they're not even going to go for this. I'm quite surprised, really, because in terms of adding $1,900, it's not going to add a huge amount to their game. It might give them something like some extra nades or an AWP. And in terms of God B, well, he basically has to get a kill to earn the extra money back that he's lost. I think he may have had a bit of extra bank anyway, so that might be the reason that we're seeing this come in. But this is a great opportunity for Liquid to actually get themselves further or more rounds at least on the T side. Only problem is, first kill, it is going to go to Legia, and while Nitro is down.
Yeah, losing Nitro early on is going to spell a little bit of disaster here for the side of Liquid. It does mean the van advantage is going to go towards NRG. They are at a huge firepower disadvantage this round. But, I mean, on the CT side, you can make these pistols work at close ranges because, I mean, a lot of the engagements you take in Nuke, with the exception of outside, which you can see NRG have almost completely given up to Liquid for free, are going to be at these close range kind of distances. You've even got the Mag 7 up on God B as well to try and utilize into this round. You can see the Liquid taking full advantage of outside and the opportunities it can present to them. Legia being the only one to try and hold this down is in towards the warehouse, just kind of hiding in behind the boxes, waiting for Liquid to potentially be caught with their pants down. They make their way up and towards heaven and going to try and make their way out towards the A site. God B here, and also Peter on the site. Quickly, I think, down by Vents for the fast rotate up in towards the A site if need be. And as Liquid starts swarming onto it, it should be fairly obvious where the play is going to be made. Bomb goes down, and the rotate has to come in.
Yeah, the one thing that's great about this at the moment for Liquid is they've got that down and pretty much just taken over the site without any real contention. The only thing that really NRG can do is try and get themselves back in, and that's going to be very, very difficult with 4 players holding after plant positions. As you can see, they're being shut down one by one by one, and not a single player lost after that moment forward, and well, that's sort of the point of abandoning the site when you don't have any utility to play with and anything to really get you back in. Also on Nuke, I feel like their A site is relatively difficult to retake anyway, so doing it without anything to play with, not even real weaponry, is going to be impossible. So Liquid, they convert that third round, and of course NRG, they saved for this buy. I think it will be Peter getting the AWP was sort of the turning point that thought, okay, we're going to save here. And in terms of the rest of the team, it does mean that they still have their rifles and a little bit of extra utility as well.
Yeah, but this round, Peter going to start things off. Does tag down Unleashed to 18 HP. HP advantage very early on, going to be going in the way of NRG. Sadly, doesn't find a kill on the back of it, though. Within the ideal scenario, but it has already slowed down the push significantly. Liquid, who normally could go quite balls to the wall when it comes to the outside push, actually slowing it down and now taking this a lot more slowly. Pimp having to rotate up on top of Marshmallow to try and cover the approach. Does throw out the appropriate smokes to cover them on the cross. And Legia is going to get Molotovs out in towards Secret. They have a good idea that he's here. He's been playing it a lot in the previous rounds. And Flash is going to be making its way out. Doesn't hit its mark. And now they do spot him as well. So his position is going to be made redundant. Looking at full on back. And Liquid, they grab control of Secret. Now looking to make their way down in towards B.
Yeah, again, a lot of map control seems to be very easily given up by the NRG side at the moment, and that does mean that they're taking passive angles elsewhere, which is a decent scenario, but the problem is, again, it looks like we're going to have a free plant for Liquid and enable them to just basically challenge this from the after plant positions, and that's actually a bit where they're pretty good at the moment. Yes, the CTs have a little bit of utility this time. You got Tabson with the Molotov, but I feel a little bit off that they're able to get the bomb down without anybody dying. Like a 5 versus 5, I feel like that is too much being given up at the moment by the CT side, and I think NRG may need to change their setup a little bit just in order to stop that from happening. Yes, maybe you lose the player sometimes, but at least you have some info, because up until the point where the bomb goes down, it seemed like they were none the wiser to where this was going.
Yeah, I mean, definitely so. They had no clue. Once they give up outside, it just allows Liquid to kind of utilize the control they get. It opens up, of course, the possibility of them making their way through Heaven or Hell, splitting down in towards B ramp, heading in towards A, and of course heading down Secret. There's so many different avenues of approach the outside area allows you to gain, and just allowing that to go uncontested, giving it over to Liquid free of charge, it just means, you know, they have no information as to what's going on. By the time that bomb goes down, you know, you've got 5 guys left. It's a 5-on-5 for the retake. You lose one as he makes his way into the site, and then all 4 players left decide to go and save. It was a very weird scenario, a 4-man save there in round number 8. And while it's going to be trying to pay off now in round number 9, Legia, the only player to rebuy, is on a mag 7. The rest of his team trying to utilize these rifles best they can. Pimp's going to be going down, but Alicia's there to refrag, puts it back into a 4-on-4. Tabson, what are you doing? Falls down to his death. And, well, I don't think it gets more embarrassing than that. He's going to go down. I don't know. I don't think we have a chat meme for if someone falls to their death, but I'm sure we can make one. It's going to be a 1-on-3 though for Fugly, and well, I suppose he doesn't go the route of Tabson and just kill himself in this scenario because yeah, he's pretty screwed.
Yeah, that is that's just bad timing, really. He tries to fall back, and it's quite frustrating as well because the position he was holding was so valuable that the second he dies, there's just no avenue for that to be defended anymore. And well, in the end, it doesn't seem to have paid too much of a problem as the rest of the team weren't able to do anything else anyway. And while Fugly just trying to save this up, should be able to get 1 for his troubles, making sure that he gets that kill onto Nitro. And while 5 rounds now already for the T side of Liquid, this is starting to get a little bit worrying once again.
I hope we have the replay of Tabson going down. I mean,
of course they're going to show it. They're ridiculously savage. Surely, there we go.
Oh.
There we go.
I mean, he took the meaning of hell to a whole new level as he just completely grounded himself.
He literally fell from heaven.
And there we go. It's going to be the 5th round on the board now for Liquid. They picked that one up, and well, it's going to be NRG. They are going to be on the back foot. They force buy up into this round though regardless. Peter still has the AWP in hand, saved from the last round. They're going to be trying to use that to have some impact into this one. God B going to be the one to start things off. Takes down Hiko. The 1-man advantage now fielded by NRG. They're looking to capitalize on that. We're going to be seeing one player rotate down in towards that B side. Probably going to be popping up towards Squeaky in the form of Tabson with that P250, but it is actually going to be God B who managed to secure the AK early on, making his way up through Secret, now trying to use that at long range to reinforce the AWP hold outside, and that is a great read on this situation. 4 members of Liquid here currently, and NRG in a good position to potentially shut this one down.
Nice peek from Peter. He will get the next kill onto Nitro. Of course, there has been a trade in the meantime, but it sticks the man advantage looking like the T's with their map control want to try and challenge to get rid of this AWP. It would be great for them to try and challenge the rest of the round, but in the meantime, rifles will be picking up. And while Peter may be blind, but he still finds the frag, leaving just 2 remaining for Liquid. What started off as just an AWP is starting to turn into what looks like a decent buy. However, a couple of players now lost. JDM's going to get that AWP back into his hands as well, which of course is a very deadly player to give that over to. But in the meantime, well, this isn't looking like an eco anymore. This is looking like just a 2v2 brawl.
Yeah, but I mean, Godby's going to find one. JDM turns around though. It's going to be Lanchin, picks up him, and then Tabson looking to redeem himself for the previous round. 13 HP in a dream, and actually picks that frag up, takes down JDM, and secures like 5th round on the board for NRG. It's going to be 5-5. It's all tied up as we head into round number 11.
Yeah, and a good bonus for their economy as well. They'll get that bounce back. They'll save an AWP and allow Peter to have a little bit of extra cash, and then the rest of the team will pretty much just get themselves a buttload of money to spend on nades. So that's absolutely lovely for NRG and their economy. They need to start stringing some rounds together, though. If they lose this one, they're going to be straight back on the pain train as having no money. And then, well, Liquid will just be able to run away with this.
Yeah, definitely so. And let's not forget, I mean, this is still CT-sided, very much so. So NRG should be fielding a fairly decent half being on that CT side. Going to be seeing Liquid, though. 4 rifles and an AWP up on JDM. Plenty of utility to try and play around with here. And a similar situation on the side of NRG. 4 rifles and the AWP up on Peter. We've seen some good success with him in that previously. Interesting to see, though, as he is falling back and playing a little bit more of a passive angle outside once again. The outside hole has been very passive. This time it's not really playing into the round too much, as it's looking like Liquid only making their way through in towards A, potentially.
Yeah, a minute left on the clock. This time, Liquid haven't been given just a load of map control. At least they haven't taken it. It is looking like they're going for a setup onto the A side. Smokes will fall, and this is countered by aggression coming out. The unfortunate factor is Hiko is still going to get that first kill, and now they have all the utility onto the site. Rotations have been quick from the CTs. Elige almost manages to get the double. In fact, it's Tabson to do just that, still putting up a fight. And in terms of the CT side, well, now it is down to Peter and Fugly. They're going to try rotating back in. It's a little bit of a confusion where the bomb is actually going. Seems like it has headed towards that B side, and this could work. They both guessed it. Unfortunately, Nitro very quick on the trigger. Now it's down to a 3 versus 1. Peter with the AWP. He's been good so far, but this is a different task altogether.
Yeah, he's got to try and find 3 members of NRG. Yeah, well, JDM coming in from behind. Kind of baits Hiko a little bit. Didn't really need to let him die there, but you know, he was going to be, he was trying to be some sort of a killer meme star, so who knows. It's going to go 6-5 as Liquid. They take a 1-round advantage over NRG, and we're going to be seeing a buy up on the cards once again. Liquid having a very formidable buy. NRG, not so much. They are a buy up a little bit, you know, a little bit of a force. So you've got the AWP on Pitter and the M4 on Tabson. Going to be trying to do what they can to secure another round on the board.
Yeah, of course, this buy is basically on the back of, okay, Tabson's been doing very well, Peter's been doing very well. Let's see if both of them can just step up in this round and, well, do exactly what is needed for the CT side. 6 rounds already for Liquid is a very strong position to be in, and, well, they're looking to get much, much more than that. Things started out relatively well for NRG, but it seemingly has fallen back a little bit. Of course, pistols haven't been too bad. Godby's been good so far, and how he's been able to find a couple of kills each time. And, well, again, map control. We do have Regia ready and waiting, but his position is known. Pre-fire from Nitro won't actually get him the kill, but eventually Elige, his buddy, will be able to find one back. However, Hiko's been dropped. He did have the bomb. Luckily, the bomb drops in a very favorable position. The peek from Tabs and the 1 rifle in play is not going to have any impact as Nitro gets himself a kill. And Walt Godby looking to try and push down. I think this should be nice and easy for Nitro. Actually bluffs it a little bit, and Godby's going to run away with the rifle.
Yeah, just tries to get the hell out of there, and he does. So he does have the M4 in hand. He's got 4 members of Liquid left to find, and sadly, they're encroaching in from all angles like vultures around a corpse. They take him down, and they drop the rifle out of his hands, and also secure a 7th round on the board. It's going to go 7-5 with a 2-round advantage going the way now of Liquid. NRG, they are finally going to have to be forced onto that eco and just bite the bullet of not being able to buy up. And, well, I mean, in all honesty, they've bought up the last couple of rounds, really trying to force it, really trying to force the progress, and it just hasn't worked. It's put them now on the back foot economically. And, well, you know, at what cost? They're just ecoing now 2 rounds later with 2 more losses on top of their scoreline.
Yeah, and the big thing is I feel like those two rifles as well, or the two guns they had, didn't really do too much. I was hoping that Peter would just go for a fully fledged aggressive push and try and basically challenge. And while Tabson, he tries to do something aggressive, pushing over towards Nitro, but fails. And speaking of Nitro, well, it is a shooting gallery, just tapping away, taking off the heads of his opposition. And while an 8th round looking almost too easy for Liquid at this point, they're going to win the half on the T side, and that really shouldn't be happening on this iteration of Nuke.
No, I mean, if I was NRG right now, I'd be losing the will to live. I know Tabson already has, but the rest of the team may be falling on through as well. They're going to go down on the site. It's going to go 8-5, and Liquid, they take a commanding lead on the T side. Now, let's not forget, like we said previously, Nuke is CT-sided. So, you know, to be 3 rounds behind, have a 3-round deficit over your opponents, is going to be less than ideal. This is Liquid's map choice, of course, and they are very much the favourites heading into this engagement. So hopefully NRG can try and put some resistance.
They can
try and put some resistance on the board sooner rather than later. And we're going to be seeing a rifle buy on the cards from NRG.
A rifle pie?
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe.
It doesn't matter though, Peter is already gone. Nitro, he's just exploded into the last few rounds, finding the opening pick. And, well, last time it was pistols, this time not so much. Already a man disadvantage for NRG, and they're going to have to try and respond to that. It seems like Peter did go for some aggression this time, but Nitro got the better of him. Of course, still 4 players left to deal with. I think Tabson has definitely been the favorite to watch at this point in time. But again, it's looking like we're going to see the Molotov strategy coming out, clearing a lot of upper angles. And while Nitro, Hiko, they pounce at once. The A site belongs to them. Godby's the only defense left towards Heaven as he's trying to stop any sort of push coming in. But what are the chances he's actually going to be able to stop this? I think they're pretty slim. Does manage to grab one. Pimp is sitting just below, and so is Hiko, but they're almost happy to just let him sit up there for now, because unless Fugly can come in and really create some sort of distraction, the chance of him being able to peek is pretty damn slim. Oh, Nitro actually missed the shot. I'm quite surprised because he's been so on point for the rest of the round, but you never know. Maybe this is the chance.
Yeah, Godby and Fugly trying to claim this one back, but Hiko's going to find that frag. Does take him down, and now it's all on Fugly. 1 versus 3, and while he's looking to save, the economy on the side of NRG is extremely weak. Fugly actually has the most money on the team, and he's got $400 in his pocket. So if he can hold on to the M4, they can at least scrape together some sort of buy in the last round of the half. It will, however, go to a 9-5 scoreline, with NRG being 4 rounds the deficit of Team Liquid.
Yeah, really, you know, you're thinking about the buy that's about to come in. They get 2,900 in their pockets for the loss bonus, but other than that, it's really not going to be anything too special. There will be a gun drop, probably a rifle coming out from Fugly that he can throw over to one of his teammates, and it is going to be Tabson. I think that's the obvious choice to make. In terms of the rest of the players, well, Peter, no AWP for you. You're going to have an instead, and Godby, Mag 7 may not be the worst gun for where he's actually been playing, but you still have to just look towards their buy, look towards how Liquid have started playing on this T side, and really think that even if they win this round, it's been a great half for Liquid.
Yeah, it has been a sensational half, to say the least, and well, you like to carry on that much more. 4 rifles in play right now. Also the AWP up on JDM, trying to make their way through outside. 4 players here for the side of Liquid. They also now have 5 as the bomb, slowly following in tow on the back of Hiko, who's just right now, he's been the dad of the team. We spoke about that earlier on. You know, he's been contributing in terms of the frags, actually top fragging as well. We always see him with the bomb, just kind of, you know, he's got everyone's backs. He's there for all of his children, and well, it's working out brilliantly. And well, now they're trying to make their way through outside once again, completely uncontested. No one's there from the side of NRG to try and put a stop to this. They don't even really know that they're outside. Peter being the only player nearby, might be able to do something about it. In towards Mini, goes for the spray, does take down JDM, finds the one-man advantage, Tabson as well, chiming in one of his own, going to go for his second as well, takes down Elige, that's 2 on the board. There's still Nitro round the corner, and Nitro's there to get the refrag, does finally take him down. Hiko, meanwhile, pushing in towards Mini, finds that frag out onto Peter. It's going to be a 2 versus 3 with Bomb on the back of Hiko.
Yeah, it's difficult to deny that Tabson has been one of the saving graces for this team. It is still a 2 versus 3, and well, the weaponry still favoring T-side, although they now lose 1 more. It's all down to Nitro. He's got to try and fight this back for a 4K. The remaining 2 players actually don't have very good weaponry, and although the bomb is isolated, the main thing that's going to cause him problems is the time. He's only got seconds to spare. Godby tries to get it into a crossfire, and really the second he goes for this plant, there should be a push coming in can go for the fake. He's actually just going to go straight for the plant, and, well, seemingly that works out nicely for him. Now he gets a chance, but Godby's very quick with the mag, and will finish off this round to at least a 6 for NRG. But you look at the sort of last few rounds. Out of the last 9 rounds, they won 1. Out of the last 10, they won 2. It's still not good for the CT side of NRG.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, you know, they are currently going to be, what, 3 rounds behind their opponents, which is, you know, not terrible, but you are on the more favored side.
It doesn't look that bad, yeah. But when you're going into a T-sided nuke against a team that has picked nuke, against a team that likes playing the CT side of nuke, and well, Dan was saying like how he likes the rotations. I'm a big fan of Hiko on this map, and JDM outside is going to be something difficult to deal with. It's just looking bleak overall. Maybe if they can sort of hurt that economy, but at the same time, if Hiko wants to be using an XM to just build up cash, then maybe they won't be able to do just that. Either way, it is going into the pistol, and a pistol that are important for NRG to get.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, we can currently see NRG playing this one quite passively, currently just biding their time, waiting to see if Liquid want to go aggressive early on and replicate the strats that we saw NRG doing in the early stages of this. Liquid aren't going to give them the satisfaction, though, just hanging back, and for the meantime, NRG aren't going to be able to find anything. As a result, Gobi is going to be lining up the smoke grenade out into the A site, looking like this is going to be the site in question. It's going to smoke off heaven, of course, and that's going to, oh, there we go. Oh, it's actually the one for the hut. I can't even remember the name. How have I forgotten the name of this? I'm actually the worst everything ever. But anyway, that smokes it down to hopefully get some pressure out towards this A site. Leggy has been able to push out. Yes, it is hut. There you go. Leggy has been able to push out completely undetected on towards this A site, but Pimp's there to get the frag anyway, so that positioning isn't going to be able to warrant anything for the side of NRG. The man advantage is going to be leading the way of Liquid here, and well, they do manage to push down ramp as a result, but Liquid are well endowed with information. They know exactly what's going on. They rotate everyone and down in towards the B site. Tabs is going to get caught with his pants down. It's going to get taken out by Pimp. JDM as well, chiming with one of his own out to go B. It's all going to be on Pit. Oh my god, I can't even talk. You do it.
Yep, I'll take it away. P2's into that 1 versus 2. Hiko still has the 5-7 in play, but it's Elige the one close. The problem is he has to get to that bomb, and Hiko very quick to take his head clean off. Of course, to remember his name, you just have to say it like the bread.
The what?
Pita bread.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. But yeah, no, so that was a nice round.
I love how you don't get any of my jokes.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, that was a good round there on the board, though, from Liquid. It was a very solid hold of that B site. It was a nice rotate as well, actually. What you and Dan were both saying about the rotations. The quick rotate down vents. They had a very good read on the situation. They were able to mop up that situation nicely. Didn't even allow NRG to get the plant as they take down Tabson, who was the bomb planter in that scenario. NRG this time, they're going to be going very aggressive towards outside. They send 2 players down in towards Secret straight off the bat, and well, no one is there from Liquid to spot that out, so very little information going the way of Liquid right now. And as a result, Legia is going to be in a great place to try and open this up. Fugly as well, close in tow as they make their way down in towards this B site.
Of course, already losing 1 man is not going to make things any easier on this T side. They do have a few deagles to play with. Got B with a couple of flashes as well, and of course the fake flash in the form of the decoy. Not really much value in that, but that's why it doesn't cost you anything really. Legia will be there to peek out, and they may have an opportunity for a bomb plant. The only problem is the bomb isn't actually with them at the moment, and it still has to rotate back in. It seems that, well, this time Liquid are just not rotating. They're just going to stick it out and wait to see if anything actually comes their way. So a lot of map control actually going the way of the Ts. It's just interesting to see that the bomb hasn't gone in that same direction. JDM, he's going to be caught completely unaware, and this should be a freebie kill if he can find it. Legia missing an easy shot and almost gives that one away. Almost completely drops the spaghetti, but at the same time, Fugly will now find Elige, and this leaves them with 3 players, all with SMGs, I might add, to fight this back.
Yeah, 2 UMPs and an MP9 in the hands of Liquid, and that might be all they need. Hiko's going to chime with 1 out and go B, and jumps down in towards Vent as well to reconvene with one of his teammates in the form of Pimp, and one bomb is going to make its way out on towards the A site. Nitro is going to fall at the hands of Legia. Legia chimes in with a second as well on the back of this Deagle. He's going huge right now. Hiko with the UMP steps up at the end to find the last 2 frags in the 1 versus 2. That UMP just raining death across NRG. It's going to be a nice, $1,800 farmed up there by Hiko as well on the back of that.
At least your maths is still good.
Oh yeah, no, it always is. But yeah, it's going to be the 11th round now on the board for Liquid. 11-6 with a 5-round advantage over NRG.
Yeah, and the big thing about that round is, although it was very, very close, you have to take into account the risk that was actually taken by Liquid. They went with no rifles. It was 4 SMGs and a scout. So they really didn't invest too much into that round and can come back straight in with this one. Now, in the form of NRG, this buy is a little bit skeptical. They've gone for 3 rifles and a couple of pistols in play, so it is a bit of a risky buy themselves. Of course, they want to get back into this one as soon as possible, and after only 1 player surviving in the last, the idea is to break the economy straight back onto Liquid.
Yeah, I do have to agree. They're going to be trying to break the economy of the side of Liquid. The economy is already low, and I mean, they don't have a lot of money to try and play around with here, but the early aggression in from Pimp's going to allow them to find 1 frag out of Fugly. Nitro as well, putting the MP9 to good use, going to take down Tabson. Peter is going to get tagged down low as well, 3 HP on him with the PT50. I'm going to get 1 into Elise, but JDM chiming on him back with the UMP. Pimp as well to find 1 through the metal grate. Actually, I don't even think he meant to get that. Takes down Peter. Well, now it's all on God B, 1 versus 4. He's got a lot of work to do, and only a CZ to do it with.
Yeah, this is a big ask. The Molotov will even force him back. He does have the bomb and a fair bit of time to play with, but not really thinking that this will be the person to take this clutch. It's not really his style, is it? Not at least in the common game. He will look for that second kill, and Pimp was low, but it'll be the triple for Pimp, and that early buy has not paid off for NRG. They don't get another bomb plant, so it won't be able to secure them something extra, and while now you sort of look towards Liquid and say they've got themselves a 6-round lead, and already things are getting a little bit problematic.
Yeah, no, definitely so. Things are getting extremely problematic, to say the least, for NRG right now. 6 round the difference between them. And once again, they're going to have very little money left. The question is, when are they finally going to get this buy up on the cards? We are now into the 4th round of the second half, and still on the pistols currently, as they tried to go aggressive previously to reset the economy of Liquid. Just wasn't going to happen. So now we are going to be seeing rifles across the board on the CT side. And on NRG, what they leave us wanting once again.
Yeah, they've done it with the pistol, which they always seem to get that, but then everything just falls back apart. Elise is going to be cleaning this one up, although God B picking up that AK will be able to trade 1 back. Legia as well, so it's still not clean for Liquid. They're unable to win these rounds easily, at least. The last one was actually a much better performance, and it was a worse buy coming out. So Pimp at least there to add another to the collection and leaving just Legia left. He doesn't have any armor, so any bullets connect to him and he's dead. And, well, that's exactly what happens. Liquid get their 13th on the board, looking to take this one over the line. But finally, a viable coming back up. And will there be an AWP? That's the question. Fugly can afford one. Now, an AWP on the T side, we've already said this, it really isn't the best avenue of attack. And, in fact, they're not going to opt for it. So Peter will not have that AWP in play. We will see one onto JDM though, and yet to see too much from him as of yet, but CT side AWP definitely more prominent, and well, he should have the outside locked down.
Yeah, well, I mean, you always need to have the extra mobility really on T-side nuke, and that's why I think we see a lot of the times that teams just kind of sacrificing that AWP play in favor of going for a 5th rifle instead, just so that you get the extra speed, the extra mobility, the extra fluidity in your takes. Well, we're going to see Elite starting things off. Does find one under go B, but Peter's there to try and trade things out. Does so, puts it back to a 4-on-4. Well, now Liquid having to adjust to this. They send Pimp down in towards the vents on the card, so we can rotate up between B and the A side. JDM, meanwhile, with the AWP outside, finds one on the Legia, shuts down the outside play, and you can already see they've kind of lost all presence there, with the exception of Peter. But even then, he can't really get much out of this push.
Yeah, JDM is holding so far back at the moment. It doesn't really allow them to rotate too far away. Peter is actually just going to hold to try and hope that somebody will push into his crosshair. Now, it's a possibility with the position of Pimp that may happen. And with Tabson entering onto Nitro as well, there is a huge possibility. Actually, Peter's moved his position, and, well, that's a little bit of bad luck for Peter. Just seconds before he would have actually found the kill onto Pimp, but now they lose that man advantage. Tabson down to 8 HP, and in terms of utility, it's only Fugly and actually only Pimp on the CT side with anything to play with. However, 30 seconds for the Ts. They have to start making their move, and Fugly, well, I don't know where he's actually going to go here. It is going to be the B site. They have to make their way there relatively quickly. But look, Pimp, he is playing a great rotational game at the moment. He is in position, and, well, he's going to catch the bomb. 15 seconds left, 8 HP. No chance.
Yeah, and there's Tabson. Somehow just flew around the map and in a flurry of death killed everyone, even himself. You know, that's the only way I could see him taking this. But it's not going to be the case. He is just going to have to hold on to the AK, live to fight another day, and take it into the next round. The only issue is you've let Liquid build up quite a formidable economy and also build up 14 rounds on the board without having won in quite some time. I mean, since they switched into the CT side, we've seen Liquid pick up all 5 rounds that have been played currently. And, you know, that's fairly impressive. Sorry, all 6 rounds, isn't it? No, all 5. I am right.
Yeah,
no, okay, I always...
Don't doubt yourself, come on.
Thank you. Yeah, no, so it is going to be a 14-6 scoreline, like we say. Liquid 1 round away from match point.
Yeah, and the big problem as well is you need to sort of be able to grind these rounds out on the T side. The chance of stringing them together is very, very slim. Like, Liquid did a great job, and it's being proven right now by how good they're doing on the CT side, but also how difficult it is for NRG to find anything. Hiko, well, he may not have pulled out the XM today, which is a little bit disappointing, but he will go aggressive with the M4 instead and take himself the first kill of the round. Fugly is down.
Yeah, and the early man advantage going the way of Liquid allows him to fall on back, play a little bit more passively, and just try to trade evenly into these engagements. We're already seeing NRG looking like they want to try and take control of ramp. Nitro's the player here to try and hold this one off. Flash is going to hit him extremely badly, though. He's going to be full on white. He tries to rotate down in towards the B side. Pimp's there to back him up. That's some damage out of Tabson. Don't know how to get one, though, and Pimp is going to go down as Legia picks up that frag. Elige, though, comes in. He's able to equalize the advantage back out in favor of Liquid. Hiko finds a second as well, and now it's all on Legia. 1 versus 3, and, you know, it was looking like NRG really had a shot into this round, but suddenly it's been flipped on its head.
Well, yeah, Peter's position was so valuable, and the second he goes down, everything seems to fall apart. Legia, well, I'm not even sure what he should do in this sort of circumstance. Maybe get the bomb down in order to try and get some money for your team into the next round. Of course, we have the full loss bonus, so 3,400 plus the bomb is a buy. So maybe that's the avenue to take. It looks like he is just trying to challenge this round, and Hiko, well, he's going to peek out and find him. It was an impossible scenario. I do think there could have been some value to the bomb plum, but even getting that would have been difficult. And now going into what is likely to be the last round, they're just going to have their either straight AKs or have to skimp onto nades. And while Tabson will do just that, he's going to get a UMP and enable himself to get some utility on the board. The rest of the team, in fact, is going to go for straight AKs and armor.
Yeah, this is really the time they kind of have to try and have their resurgence and come back into this. You've got the UMP up on Tabson. 4 rifles across the board as well for everyone else. Literally no utility with the exception of Tabson. And if he dies, then they are going to lose a lot of that in the process. Never mind that though, Peter's going to be the first one to fall. Gobi tries to go out for the trade, but it's going to get taken down in the process. Tabson will be the only player to pick up anyone yet with that UMP. Does take down Nitro. Lagia finally finds JDM as well. Puts it back to a 3-on-3, but Elige isn't ready to forego the advantage just yet. Takes down Tabson in towards B. That's going to eliminate the enemies on his flank. Then Legia falls as well, and now it's all on Fugly. 1 versus 3. They lose all the positioning they had in towards ramp and outside, and it's all going to fall onto Fugly.
Yeah, that's going to be it. No surprise to how this one turned out. Of course, there was a little bit towards the start where we were thinking maybe NRG can actually string some rounds together, but it doesn't work out in the end, and it seems like the caliber of Liquid was just too much for them. They weren't able to compete. I think Tabson was, as said, maybe the only player in the server who could really live up to that sort of battle. I think Peter had some moments where you could go, hey, you know what, there's a chance that they could have fought that one back, but it just wasn't the case.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was incredibly strong from Liquid from beginning till end. NRG, they did look to be on the ropes and struggling a little bit. And, well, I mean, it's interesting to see because the next map is going to be Dust 2, and it's kind of the only chance they really have to try and make their way back into it.
Yeah, I have actually seen Tabson play quite a bit of Dust 2 because even though I don't do too many NA games, it's when he subs in for alternate attacks. And he is actually very, very good at Dust 2. So in terms of that, for them, that could be a great little start. The fact that they do have a player that is very prominent on the map in terms of him. I think also Peter, of course, the AWPer for the team, but he is going to have a bit of a challenge because JDM is a monster. So I think it should be more of the same, but I do think possibly a better standpoint in this one, at least for NRG. And as said, recently, the last time they played, they did actually manage to beat them on Dust 2.
Yeah. But so we'll be back with that after a short break, so be sure to stick around, and we'll be coming back up with map number 2 of the NACS in just a minute.